So, for what really struck me was the ending. I thought it was really fantastic how Esther really bounced back from her fling with George after he used all her savings on alcohol and prostitutes. Like her confidence really wasn't hurt at all. She just went right back to the boarding house and kept on going as a seamstress with her dream of one day opening a beauty parlor in mind. I thought that was great that her romance was crushed, but her dreams of the future weren't. For the three prominent themes, I thought love was pretty prominent. That was like the driving force behind the play because Esther really wanted to find that love. She really desired it. And I think that's why she became so infatuated with George so quickly, even despite never having met him, because she just wanted it so badly. And then there's the whole her and Mr. Marks thing. That wasn't a physical intimacy, it was more emotional intimacy, and that kind of kept her grounded. I think. But in the end, it was Esther's love for sewing and love for her dream for the future that really kept her going, and that really helped save her when George wasted away all of her savings. The theme of identity was there too. I thought that was really interesting because I think the corsets really played a role in that because despite Esther not really having a strong sense of self, she helped others find that. Like Mrs. Van Buren, she helped her explore her sexuality with the corset. She helped made me feel like high end and rich and respectable, even though she was a prostitute. And then gender played a pretty big role because Esther encountered a lot of obstacles just because she was a woman. She felt that she had to fit a certain mold for George, and she kind of put her dreams for a beauty parlor on the back burner just because she was a woman, and she felt that George's needs were more important than hers, and that's why she lost all of her savings. And same for Mrs. Van Buren. She felt the pressure that she needed to bear children for her husband, and Mamie felt that she could only fit into the mold of a prostitute. She didn't really have a good sense of self-worth just because she was a woman. And I think this play incorporated all three R's. I think it kind of reinforced the stereotype that the African Americans aren't very well educated because Esther was illiterate, but it also resisted the fact that the stereotype that African Americans are lazy and don't work because she was a hardworking seamstress. That's all she did, and that's what she went back to when her plans with George fell through. And then I think the African American experience was kind of reinvented because Esther was portrayed as human. I think the stereotype is that African Americans are like subpar human beings, but Esther was portrayed as emotional and hardworking and someone that does get hurt, but someone that can bounce back, someone that's confident. I thought that was really great. For question 4, do stereotypes still persist? Yeah, they still persist in present day, and I think it has to do a lot with lineage and ignorance. Like we're taught by our parents and by their grandparents, and just it's impressed upon us that these stereotypes do exist. That African American culture, they're poor, that they're uneducated, and that they're violent. And I think this could be overcome through cultural art portraying different time periods in which this is not true. And 2 questions I'd like to know is why did Lynn Nottage make Esther illiterate? And I wanted to know if African Americans did have a lot of seamstress jobs back in that time period.